Good afternoon, media. Before I start this presser, apologies once again for the timings earlier. With us, we have Hollywood Bet Sharks loose forward Phepsi Buthelezi, and this interview is ahead of the game against Dragons taking place on Friday. Floor is now open for questions. Michael Monowick, you can go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Pepsi. Hope you're doing well and preparing well for the weekend. Just looking back, obviously a tough first game up for you guys, but what's it, 69 minutes you were in the game, 2 points behind. What happened in the last 10 minutes that maybe you guys can focus on going ahead to this week?
Yeah, how's it, Michael? Yeah, no, we really thought
How's
that
it?
in that game for like as you said, I think with 10 minutes to go or 9 minutes to go, we're only 2 points behind. But I think this was a trend throughout the game. I think our discipline wasn't good enough. I think we conceded something close to about 15 or 16 penalties. So that obviously had a ripple effect. And you know, against a team like that, if you're going to keep making those errors, they really know how to close out a team well. So that's where we had an honest look at ourselves. We thought we could have been better in some aspects of the game, like our more stops. I think we ended up getting two yellow cards, if I'm not mistaken, and both of those yellow cards came from Moles. So that was a bit disappointing from our side, and that's something we're gonna look to improve this week.
Next question.
Anything else that you guys are looking? I mean, you guys played really well for a first game. Often, there's a bit of rustiness as well, but and you guys haven't had the most seamless preseason, so you must be really happy with it. There was some really good stuff though.
Yeah, but definitely a lot of positives. We've also had a lot of movements. Within our squad, we had guys join us after a preseason. Obviously, some of the guys finished up, with Currie Cup from their different unions. So I think, we're with us, even though you'll never be happy with the loss. We're definitely not happy with that kind of result, but there were lots of positives from our, performance against the Glasgow. And, we're going to look to take those positives into Dragons on Friday and, look to build on them.
Next question, please. Vim, go ahead.
Hi, Phepsi. I hope you're well. Just looking back at the game, I mean, the pace seemed quite frenetic throughout, but from both teams. And, I know, with Franco at Glasgow, that is sort of his style. And with Plum, with you guys, you are, trying to, pick up the pace in the way you play. Was the, how did the pace feel for you guys, during the match and, heading into this weekend's game against the Dragons? Are you expecting something different, similar from them, and will you guys try to keep that pace up?
Yeah, how's it, Vim? Yeah, I know it definitely was a fast-paced game, and like as you say, it's exactly what we expected against Glasgow. I think Coach Franco's done very well with them. I think we probably, looking back at the game, we ended up drowning ourselves a bit. We felt that we overplayed in certain areas of the game. That's obviously something that they're good at. So, like at the back of those longer sequences, they'd get penalties and then pin us back in our half. So that's definitely one of the things we're gonna look to improve come this Friday. And just from a Dragons point of view, I think obviously new coach. I think they have a total of about 14 new players. So, it's a completely different team. We had a look at their game against Ulster. We really thought they were really competitive. I think the scoreboard isn't a true reflection of that game. I think they're a really proud team. They've got a bigger pack, slightly more physical pack. So, we've got our work cut out for us this Friday.
Thank you. Ken, go ahead.
Thanks, Navashi. Hi, Phepsi. Phepsi, just going back to the Rolling Moors, and obviously Glasgow really relied on them to hurt you guys. And you mentioned the infringing there. Do you feel the infringements came because you guys were desperate, or because it was just sort of a loss of concentration under pressure?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a bit of both, Ken. I think there's definitely not nothing wrong with our system. After reviewing that game, it was just individual errors, from both of those two more stops, one of those errors coming from myself, because we've got a system that we've really put together and we know it works for us. And, once we get out of that system and then we scramble, we look for desperate actions. And obviously at this level, when a team is that close to your try line, actions like that, really get punished. So it's also something that we've really worked really hard on this week. So I'm really excited to see how our pack responds.
Thank you. Next question, please. Michael, go ahead.
Phepsi, you've touched on some of it, but what are you hoping to I won't say improve on. What are you hoping for us to see, or what can we expect to see from you guys on Friday evening, a little bit different or better than in your first game?
Yeah, no, just from our side, it's really simple. We want you guys to see a really proud and desperate Sharks team that's gonna go out there, work hard for one another, really just restore some pride back into the jersey. I think we were obviously very disappointed with last weekend, and we really thought that we didn't stick to the Sharks way of playing, things that we've been working on in our preseason. So I think that's the biggest focus for us going into Friday, for everyone watching us to just see how desperate we are, how hard we're willing to work for one another, how hard we're willing to work for this badge, because that is something we've spoken about a lot during our preseason. And, we really thought that at times, in the game against Glasgow, we let ourselves down in that space.
Thank you. Gavin, do you have any questions? I know that.
Thanks, Phepsi.
Sorry, no, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, no, I've got nothing ready to
Okay.
to add.
Brilliant.
It's been good. Yeah, thanks.
Are there any further questions from anyone else?
Mavashi, I'll just ask one
Go
more.
for it.
Phepsi, you mentioned right before the press, that the training session you had today was quite intense, but maybe just give us a bit of a feel, or a bit of an idea of, what the weather is like that side, and what you guys are expecting in terms of that on Saturday. I don't think there's rain expected, but it is a lot more chilly than Durban's humidity.
Yeah, so we've actually been very fortunate on our trip so far. We've had really great weather. And funny enough, there is a bit of rain predicted on Friday. I think it's something like 80% rain predicted on Friday. So that's also something that we've got in the back of our minds. For us, it's nothing we get anxious about really, because if we play the Sharks way really accommodates for any type of weather on the day. And we've got really good game managers that will make the right decisions, put us in the right areas of the field, and really just play the game like how we want to play the game.
And on that, obviously you guys are a bit suffering from injuries in the fly-off position, with Jordan and Sia. But having a guy like Jaden's versatility in that role, just how beneficial is that?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. I think Jaden's obviously very comfortable in that space. I think a guy like John Smith as well is very comfortable. He's really grown in our squad. He's been training very well this week, and I'm really excited for him. I'm really excited to see how he goes, and Jaden and him to just see how they can manage the game and really just help us play in the right areas of the field.
Thank you very much. If there's no further questions, media, thank you very much for your time. And
Navashni?
Yes.
Sorry, don't forget about Nick's questions on the chat.
Yeah, but I think that was
Question.
answered. I think that was
Oh,
answered.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that was
Cool.
covered.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Media,
Navashni.
thank
Thanks,
you for
Phepsi.
your
Good
time,
luck.
Phepsi. All the best. Thank you for yours.
Okay.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
guys.